After 15 months of brutal conflict, a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas has come into effect. The deal, announced on January 15, 2025, brings a fragile peace to a region ravaged by war. The agreement includes the release of hostages held by Hamas. In return, Israel will release Palestinian prisoners. The deal also promises the resumption of international aid to Gaza. This aid is desperately needed after months of conflict. The ceasefire is the culmination of months of intense negotiations. It follows a devastating war that began in October 2023. The conflict resulted in the deaths of over 46,000 Palestinians. Over 1,200 Israelis were also killed. The fighting caused widespread destruction in Gaza. The ceasefire agreement is complex and its implementation remains uncertain. It faces significant challenges. Many observers doubt the commitment of both sides to a lasting peace. The underlying issues that led to the conflict remain unresolved. The ceasefire is a fragile opportunity for peace. It is a chance to rebuild lives and infrastructure, but the situation remains precarious. A return to violence is a real possibility. The international community must work to ensure the ceasefire holds. The Israel-Hamas ceasefire has become embroiled in U.S. domestic politics. Both President Biden and former President Trump claim credit for the deal. Trump, who left office in 2021, argues that his administration laid the groundwork for the agreement. He points to the efforts of his envoy, Steve Witkoff. Witkoff was reportedly instrumental in pressuring Israel to accept the deal. Biden, however, insists that his administration deserves the credit. He highlights the role of his Middle East envoy, Brett McGurk. McGurk led the negotiations that ultimately secured the ceasefire. The public back and forth between Biden and Trump has added a layer of complexity to an already delicate situation. The political posturing has not been limited to the United States. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faced significant opposition to the deal from within his own government. Far-right ministers in his coalition criticize the agreement. They view any concessions to Hamas as a sign of weakness. Netanyahu's delay in approving the deal is seen by some as an attempt to appease his right-wing base. The ceasefire agreement has exposed the deep political divisions within both Israel and the United States. These divisions will continue to pose challenges to the implementation of the deal. The long-term viability of the ceasefire will depend on the ability of leaders to prioritize peace over political expediency. The Israel-Hamas ceasefire agreement is the result of a complex and multifaceted negotiation process. The Biden administration played a central role in brokering the deal. Their efforts were supported by a number of international actors. These included Arab Gulf states, Turkey, Qatar, and Egypt. The United States, under the leadership of Brett McGurk, engaged in intensive shuttle diplomacy. They aimed to bridge the gap between the two sides. The Biden administration also applied pressure on both Israel and Hamas to reach an agreement. This pressure came in the form of diplomatic efforts and threats of reduced aid. The Arab Gulf states, particularly Qatar, played a crucial role in facilitating the talks. Qatar has long maintained communication channels with Hamas. They were able to leverage these relationships to encourage the group to accept the ceasefire. Egypt, which shares a border with Gaza, also played a vital role in the negotiations. They facilitated the movement of negotiators and provided guarantees for the implementation of the agreement. The involvement of multiple international actors underscores the complexity of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It also highlights the need for a coordinated international effort to achieve a lasting peace. The success of the ceasefire will depend on the continued engagement of these actors. The Israel-Hamas ceasefire agreement is a fragile step towards peace. It is not a guarantee of long-term stability. The underlying issues that have fueled the conflict for decades remain unresolved. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza presents a significant challenge. The Strip is facing severe shortages of food, water, and medicine. The healthcare system is in ruins. Rebuilding Gaza will require a massive international effort. This effort must address both the immediate needs of the population and the long-term development of the region. The political future of Gaza is also uncertain. The ceasefire agreement does not address the issue of governance. The potential for a resurgence of violence is a real and present danger. The ceasefire agreement is complex and its implementation will be challenging. Trust between the two sides is almost non-existent. Any violation of the agreement could quickly lead to a resumption of hostilities. the international community must remain actively engaged in supporting the ceasefire. This includes providing humanitarian assistance, monitoring the implementation of the agreement, and working to address the root causes of the conflict. The ceasefire is a fragile opportunity for peace. It is an opportunity that must not be squandered.